The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Today, we're breaking down the All-22 from the Jets debacle on Monday night in Miami. Joe Blewett from JetX will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let the pain continue.
The 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go. Here on a hump day. It is Wednesday, show number 2 on the day. Reminder, if you ever miss a live show on YouTube, you can listen to the entire show in audio form wherever you get your podcast. Apple, Spotify, search Jake Asman Show, and you can listen back to anything you might have missed. Let's say hello to the great Joe Blewett from JetsXFactor.com. Joe, I don't know how you continue to break down film, especially film on the Jets defense. We're grateful you're willing to do it because, oh my God, at least watching the game live and some of the clips I've seen resurfacing online, this one was ugly.
Yeah. What's another year? It's been 7 for me breaking down film, but 15 years now, most likely 15 years, obviously going on a playoff drought. So it is what it is. Just lean into the pain, I guess. But yeah, it's brutal, man. You have all the stats. I know you have the Zach Rosenblatt stats and all of that, but there's a bad football team on defense, whether it be rushing the passer, covering guys, tackling guys. It's got to fix. And I said it after week 1, like, hey, if this is a problem for week 4, 5, 6, we have to start to be concerned, and it's still a problem. So it needs to be fixed ASAP.
It's hard to imagine it being any worse, but now you're playing the Cowboys on Sunday, and they have a really good offense. So until the Jets prove it, I don't know why anyone would expect this defense to play a whole lot better. They are going to get, in all likelihood, Jermaine Johnson back this week. Aaron Glenn with a positive update on that earlier today. And it sounds like a guy that you have some film breakdown for us a little bit later on in the show, Brownley, the corner they acquired last week from the Titans. Sounds like he's going to be healthy, and he could be filling in for Michael Carter, who's likely not going to play with a concussion he suffered in the game Monday night down in South Beach. Before we get to this game against Dallas and all that, let's talk about the game on Monday. Before we get to some of the specifics in the film, what to you were the biggest takeaways from just watching it all back, both offensively and defensively?
Again, it's the simple stuff. Like, we could break down scheme and play calling and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it's simple, right? Like, it doesn't need to be that complicated. 13 penalties, 3 turnovers. You can't tackle, and you blow defensive coverages. Like, it's pretty much that simple. Like, you don't really have to get more in depth than that. It's not some intricate thing about why they're losing football games. They're losing football games because they're not showing up. You know, what was it? 6 penalties pre-snap on offense. 9 total. And it's like the second most they've had in like 28, 25 years, wherever the exact stat I saw was. Brutal, man. Like, you can't win a game like that. Like, they're not a star stuff. They have some stars, but they're not an absolutely stacked roster. So when you're handing the team, 13 penalties over 100 yards, 6 pre-snap on offense, you're just not going to win games. When you get to the 1-yard line, you can't fumble the football. You can't fumble the football Justin Fields. Nobody was open on that play, but you can't fumble the football there. You can't return kicks and fumble the ball. Why is Braylon Allen back there? How are you fair catching at the 2-3 yard line? Like, so again, we can get all intricate with the coverages and all that crap, but again, it's simple how bad they are. It's very evident.
It is just hard to believe that this defense not that long ago was considered one of the best in the league. A lot of those players are still here, yet it remains as bad as it's been. You referenced the Zach Rosenblatt stats. I'll put them up on the screen here. This is from his Twitter account. 0 takeaways, the only team in the league with 0. 6 total sacks, but remember, 4 of them did come in week 1. They had 0 against Tua. They barely even hit him if they hit him at all in this game on Monday. 27 plus points allowed in 3 of the 4 games, 22 in the other. They're 30th in defensive EPA per dropback. And this is just such a damning stat here. 54.8% of their opponents' drives have ended in either a field goal or a touchdown, which ranks as the 3rd highest rate in the NFL. So it's been brutal to watch on the game broadcast or in person when I was in Tampa to see it. And you've not only watched all this live, but then you go back and see it on film, and it's a disaster. So with that being said, let's watch some film, shall we? Joe, you're going to screen share. We have clip number 1. Set this one up for us. We all now can see it.
Yeah. That's a thing, man. It's like, I don't even get to just erase it. Neither do you. You have to talk about it for however long, during the week, 4 hours a day or whatever, but I get to go back and watch it again right after it. It is so much fun to watch this again after. So again, all these are gonna be pretty simple because it's nothing really overly complex. The Jets run a cover 3 here. To the bottom of the screen, you have Cisco, who's standing right up next to Jamie and Sherwood. And what he needs to do is not get beat to the flat. And again, simple, like very, very simple stuff. Do not get beat to the flat here. And he's standing as a linebacker and he stares at Tua, gets beaten to the flat, easy first down on a speed out. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Like, how do you get outflanked that badly when that's your responsibility? You have Tyreek, who's fast as hell, and you're just going to stare at the quarterback and let him get outside leverage on you. Again,
that's Cisco who got beat there, right? You said Sherwood. You meant Cisco?
I said Sherwood, but he's standing next to Sherwood. But he's right. Yeah, he's right here.
Gotcha.
Next to Sherwood, to the right of Sherwood. And again, you just can't get outflanked to the flat. It's as simple as that. He stares at Tua, and you have an easy pitch and catch for a first down. It should not be that easy at the NFL level. And that's really, again, all you need to say for that play. There's really not much more to it. So it is simple things that the Jets are allowing to happen to them on defense. So when does it get fixed? I don't know, because again, it's not intricate stuff. It's really not. So
unreal. All right, here we go. Another play of the greatness that is the 2025 Jets defense.
Yeah, this is another freeze frame one where I'm going to pause it. This is a play action rollout. I said it on Twitter, like, hey, by the way, Jets, the Dolphins are going to play action rollout and run some crossers. They've been doing it on you all day, and you have to stay home and you have to know what's happening. I'll freeze frame it. Look at all the Jets in that one area. You have 8 dudes within a 5-yard box of each other. And then you have a crosser from, it's Tyreek Hill to the bottom right here. And look how open he is, dude. Like, you're talking about a 12-yard pass on the run, and you could not get more open. Like, it's again, simple stuff. Guys have to stay home. And initially you have Tony Adams driving from deep, and he looks like he's lost. He bites on the play action so hard that he gets a little bit out leverage deep. And then nobody picks up Tyreek Hill. Yeah, nobody picks up Tyreek Hill as a linebacker because, and we'll talk about Tony Adams later, my God. But what are we doing here? Like, you can't bite. It's going to happen over and over and over and over again because the Jets cannot defend play action. Just play action crosses the Jets all day, and you're going to absolutely work them. So another play just showing how inept the defense is there.
What's the coaching point to prevent that from happening? Like, how do you get the defense to stop biting on play action like that?
Well, the linebackers, you want them to stay home. Like, you could take a step or two towards the line of scrimmage, but like, read your keys. Is he getting close to the running back? Is he actually bringing home the fake? Situationally, teams are going to do it to you. So if anything, play it a little bit more back to front. You know that they're going to attack you this way. So why are we going to continue to bite as hard as we are? Clearly, it's a weakness of ours. Play past the run first. Like, it's hard for linebackers. It is, because you have to play the run as well. But when teams are beating you this bad in play action and your defense is actually doing decent against the run, hesitate and read your keys. Like, it's as simple as that. So I don't know, man. Just lean into the pain. I'll pull up the next play. We got this is another one where Michael Carter II was beat on this play. And it's a thing where, like, hopefully, pre-snap, you have banjo calls. So he's to the bottom of the screen right here. You have Sauce in man coverage on the number 1 receiver to the bottom. You got Michael Carter II in man coverage. I believe it's on Waddle on this one, right? And he just runs like a delayed wheel route, and they set a pick, old Patriots type of deal, setting picks and all this stuff. But you then have, Michael Carter II who runs into the pick. Got to be aware of it as a defense. Michael Carter II either needs to go over top of it, realize it, and go over top of it and play it high to low, which is preferable here. Or if he gets hands on the line of scrimmage, you're able to then undercut it. And what you do is you jet stream him basically, which is basically, for lack of a better term, getting nut to butt, and you just get right on his ass. Because then if he tries to pick you, he's going to pick the receiver as well. So you gotta feel it out. Or you have a banjo call where you play first in, first out, and if they switch releases where the 1 becomes the 2 and the 2 becomes the 1, Sauce and Michael Carter II switch, but none of that happens. He gets rub routed, and now you have a wheel route, wide open, or not wide open, but open on 3rd and 10 there, and the Jets are beat for yet another first down on defense. So again, Michael Carter II has a better awareness of that. Or, pre-snap, they got to say, hey, banjo it, and then they'll play first in, first out on that one.
Question about Carter specifically. We know he's probably going to be out this week, but what have you noticed that has been his issues this year? Because he does not look like the same guy. I know he was hurt for most of last year, so it was a wash season, but this guy was one of the best at his position in the league and was one of the best success stories of the last 5 years for this team, right?
Before we got him, he was amazing. I was like, this guy, as long as he doesn't fall off a cliff, is going to be an excellent player for the Jets. And look what happened. So is it an injury thing? He's been battling quite a few injuries at this point in his career. So did the injuries catch up with him? That's a major question. And it looks like he's a little bit jumpy, where to me at the line of scrimmage, he's opening up a little bit too early, and he's not as confident in his feet. And maybe that's a thing where, because of the injuries, he's not as confident in his speed. So I don't think he's confident in himself. But even certain things mentally, he's not doing as good of a job. And there's some screens and stuff where Michael Carter II of old is out there on that screen, but he's biting on play action. He just looks like he's pressing, and I think the injuries are starting to catch up with him, and he's not confident in himself, unfortunately.
The pain never stops. Hey, I'll try and do something fun for those who are watching the show live. We gave away one signed Joe Klecko jersey on our show this morning, and trying to manifest the Jets to actually play good defense on Sunday. How about another signed Joe Klecko jersey up for grabs? Number 73, one of the retired numbers in Jets history. If you want a Klecko jersey, gift the membership or send it a $10 super chat or higher. And how about Papa Jet, who has the number 73 in his name because of Joe Klecko? He's the first to enter this afternoon's daily raffle. He is in for 2 with this super chat here. Okay, so Klecko jersey up for grabs. Other weekly prizes. If you don't win, you qualify for a signed Joe Namath helmet, signed Wayne Corbett football, and a signed Sauce Gardner jersey. This will be on Tuesday's show next week, Tuesday morning, the Asmaniac weekly raffle. Joe, let's get back to the pain. The Jets defense doing nothing right. Break down this one.
This is one where hey, the Jets don't really have many opportunities to pick the ball off because people get rid of the ball so quickly because people are running wide open. So why do you have to hold the ball? You have a situation here. Jets drop into a cover 2. You're going to have Cisco to he's the deepest guy on the screen right now, to the top of the screen. And he just completely misjudges the ball, hesitates, and it could have been not an easy, but it could have been a pick for the Jets. Undoubtedly, on this play, it doesn't count anyway. I think this was 3rd and 9. You have Will McDonald to the bottom of the screen on the defensive line who forces the hold. He actually had a pretty good game, Will McDonald, in this one. And again, the ball was out so quick, he just couldn't get there. There's so many times where he could beat a guy with a spin or a rip or whatever, and the ball was just out. But watch Cisco. You have Tyreek Hill on a deep snag sit route, and Cisco breaks on it well. He sees it, but then he hesitates, misjudges the ball in the receiver, and then he ends up not picking the ball off. It's just a situation where you want to see him, be confident in his eyes, not hesitate the way he does, and he could have potentially jumped it for a pick. Now the Jets obviously accept the penalty, the holding on the right tackle, but a situation where again you're not getting many opportunities to pick the ball off, and Cisco just completely misjudges it. So there you go. Why don't the Jets get picks? Well, again, they can't cover, and when they do get opportunities, though. So again, I don't know what it is once you don that Jets emblem or logo or whatever. I don't know what happens to guys, but potentially make that play. So here we are again. It just quite literally never ends.
It's unreal, and it just doesn't make any sense why he's continuing to play. Tony Adams is continuing to play. Yeah. You and I talked off air about this week. Why not try Michael Carter at safety where he played in college? Why not try Stevens at safety and give AZ Thomas an opportunity to play? They're just I don't know. 4 games in, I think they've been so poorly coached, and I understand some of this is players is not making plays. Like that example there, Cisco's got to make a play, but I just feel like they're not being proactive and trying different things, given how bad the defense has been so far.
Yeah, like you struggle to tackle. AZ Thomas is a very good tackler. Like get him on the field at the minimum. He's super aggressive. He was at Florida State. Get him on the field. Again, try some different things. I don't think Stevens was the biggest of their problems this week. Again, this is the second week in a row where he was like okay, but you got to do something. You got to change it up. Like, what do we even do at this point? I don't know. Like, we try offensive guys, well, mostly defensive guys, offensive guys, rah guys, more relaxed guys. It just nothing works. I don't know what we did. I don't know if the Joe Namath curse is real. What we have to do to be an actual NFL franchise, but it just sucks. Like when you're watching games or people comparing you to high school teams and Middle Tennessee State and all this stuff, and you're an absolute joke. And I feel like a battered woman, in a domestic abuse relationship. It's just like I keep coming back for more, and I don't know when it ends. I know some people out there, I feel bad for people who are 60, 70, 80 years old and are waiting for another ring. I got hopefully another 60 years in me. So I guess we'll see. I don't even know.
I'd like to think I have a lot of time, but like following this team, loving this team, all the hours I put talking about this team, like it's definitely taking years off my life. So I don't have as much time as I should have, if that makes sense.
Dude, no doubt. And we were talking about it pre-show too. Like, not only am I a Jets fan, I'm a Mets fan as well. Yeah, and you talk like at least the Knicks have good vibes and they're fun. Like the Nets had the biggest super team bust of all time, lost the series by Kevin Durant's big toe. Injuries. The Mets are just the Mets. They just led a playoff spot to a team that was I think it's $222 million less payroll than the Mets. You missed the playoffs. Like, what is just I don't. Again, it's at this point, just be apathetic and just duck off of water's back and don't react. I know it's hard. Trust me. By Wednesday I calm down when I'm watching the game. I freak out, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just okay. Is what it is.
How you are when you watch the game is the same way. And that's why I'm the same way. And that's why I don't ever stream myself watching Jets games. I don't want that on camera. I'm unhinged.
No, you heard me after the Bills game. My voice was completely gone. Like I freak out and exactly. I don't need somebody taking something I say the wrong way. Cause I say some absolutely disgusting things, but just allow me to have those 3 hours of my life. I have to take it out on the Jets.
Speaking of disgusting, how about this Jets 3rd down and 8, Joe Blewett?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me play this one out. It's actually frozen a little bit on my screen and see exactly what happens.
Here we go. It's rolling.
Hold on. Okay, I think I cut this wrong, Jake. So I'm gonna go to the next one. That's my fault.
You know what? Okay. If I don't have to watch Tyreek Hill's leg explode there, Joe, I think that's not the worst thing in the world.
Oh, yeah, that's that play. So I'll talk about that one quickly. So what happens on that play is the Jets have a bracket. I think it's called an arch bracket. I forget exactly off the top of my head now. I think it's like an arch bracket. And you have Malachi Moore who's playing that route. So he runs like a sail route. You have Malachi Moore who's playing that route so inside heavy. And then Tony Adams in that bracket is supposed to be playing the bracket outside in. Tony Adams backs up 20 yards off the ball, and Tyreek Hill breaks it outside where Tony Adams is supposed to be and just beats him for an easy first down and 3rd and 9. That's what happens on that one. So yeah, I cut that wrong, or something happened where I was just watching it and just being passive because I'm miserable while watching this. But yeah, that's my fault. Actually, no, it should be. Hold on, let me see this really quickly, because on my screen it's showing that it should be good, Jake. I don't know why it's not showing. Whatever. All right.
It's just starting slow. That could be an NFL premium thing though, where whoever was running that play forgot to hit record and upload it properly.
Yeah, it's weird because the pre snap of it is showing the high version of it, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. You have a bracket where Tony Adams just plays it completely wrong, and then Tyreek Hill gets his legs snapped in half. But nonetheless, next play, this is the one of the Waller, or the second Waller touchdowns. And you have Jets who are just running into each other. So you have Brandon Stevens. It's Brandon Stevens right behind Sherwood towards the bottom of the screen. He's in man coverage on Sherwood, and he ends up running into now we
he's
know
not Waller, you mean, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. He's what did I say?
You said Stevens was in coverage on Sherwood, but I know what you meant.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. Okay. So
that's how it looked, actually. That's the problem. The Jets are guarding themselves and not the opponent, and that's how guys get wide open.
But again, you have to be aware of this. Like they're running, heavy personnel here at 22. You're in the red zone. There's gonna be a lot of crossers. There's gonna be a lot of misdirection, all this stuff. So you have to be aware that there's going to be flows opposite ways, most likely if it is play action. So you have to either undercut it, overcut it, have communication, switch off, banjos, all the stuff we talk about. And you have guys who are running into each other looking like not even high school level football. I'm assuming that Cisco was in a one high, and he was just going to try to rob anything coming across the middle of the field and kind of play free. And he tries to pick it up, but it happens so quickly that he's not able to get there. But look how far Stevens is away, because you have Jets running into each other, pretty consistently in this game and just giving guys wide open touch. Yeah, because they're not forcing the quarterback to hold the ball, because everybody's just running around, absolutely wide open.
Cole with a comment here. He's watching on X. Thank you, Cole. If everyone is running into each other and multiple DBs are not understanding their jobs, that's 1,000% coaching. In your estimation, Joe, how much of that is on the players? How much of that is on the coaching?
Dude, so I talked about this on my stream last week. Like it's really hard to know, just being transparent, because we don't know what's happening in the meeting rooms, right? Like we don't have all the information. So like I said last week with, I believe it was Quincy, like if they're telling, or Quincy or whoever, hey, this is your assignment, this is your assignment, this is your assignment, this is your assignment, he goes out on the field and blows the assignment, then how do you put that on coaching? But the problem is we're not in the meeting rooms, so we can't quantify exactly who's, we can't figure out whose fault it is, because we don't know how they're being coached, how much to emphasize it, what they're teaching. So it's honestly a really hard question to answer, because I'm not in the meeting rooms. I don't have all of the information. I'm assuming that Wilkes is at least not a complete, jackass, and he's telling these guys these things. So how is he teaching it? That could be a problem. But it's say 50-50 split, because it's really hard to know exactly what they're emphasizing in the meeting rooms.
And the other thing that's tough to quantify too is like they could be expressing this and saying, hey, do this, but like, is the message being lost because the coaches aren't connected with the players, or there's not total buy-in from the head coach down with the player? Like, you know what I mean? Like we've all had like teachers that are much better at just explaining it, keeping you engaged. Like sometimes you just tune people out if they're not like, if the position coach is not reaching, the linebackers are connected with the defensive linemen and everyone, you know what I mean? Like there's just, you could have a really smart teacher that doesn't actually know how to teach the material. They're just really smart and they know it, but they don't know how to translate that. And that's what we don't know, because we're not there behind closed doors.
Exactly. That's the only answer, right? Because we don't know. If he said it one time and is not emphasizing it, then okay, it's obviously on him. If he's emphasizing it but teaching in the wrong way, okay, that's on him. But if you have players who are just kind of, they're not stupid, but if they're not just receiving the message and they can't operate, they can understand it in the film room, but once the ball is snapped, they panic. Then how is that on the coach? So it's all so bad on defense right now. I think it's always easy for Jets fans to kind of put it on one person, because you could put it on one person. Okay, well, if he's gone, then everything's fixed. But realistically, it's everybody. It's not Wilkes. It's not just Sauce. It's not just MC2. It's the entire defense, or most of the defense, and it's Wilkes. So at what point does Aaron Glenn step in? You're assuming at the end of this year he'll be the scapegoat and bring somebody else in. But that's the problem. Like, and I'm sure I talked about it too, but like you kind of repeated what you did with Saleh. You brought in a rookie head coach, rookie OC, all these young coaches, and look what's happening on the Jets staff. So some more experience undoubtedly would have helped. Linebackers coaches knew. I believe the secondary coaches knew. They missed Tony Oden desperately. He was a very good DB coach in my opinion. So how do you answer that without actually being there? And like that's the problem with the draft and stuff too, is like we're not there in the meeting rooms, we're not breaking down the film with them, we don't know how they're acting. So we have like 60% of the sample of these guys. There's a lot that happens behind closed doors. That's just the reality of the NFL.
It's interesting you brought up Saleh. Good thing Aaron Glenn has never quoted Robert Saleh.
Could always beat the narrative of same old Jets, but it's not.
But I know this, they're not the same old Jets.
Everyone wants things now. It's the instant coffee age. But at the same time, we're grinding.
Here's what I do know. I know this is an instant coffee league. I know from the media to the fans, everybody expects this, when you just start, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl. But we've all played Legos before.
We'll watch the tape.
Watch the tape.
I just have PTSD from just like hearing that. Like it never ends, man. It never ends.
What's the I'm forgetting the terminology right now. What's the place between heaven and hell that people are stuck in for years and years and years? Maybe we're all
purgatory. Is that what it is?
Yeah, maybe we're all stuck in purgatory together and we don't even know it as Jets fans. So let's just enjoy the ride. But my problem with Saleh or with Glenn is like, again, I don't know when the quote happened exactly. But he said, okay, we're going to win this year.
And we're here to win now. and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
Combine.
Yeah. Okay. So don't go back on your word. You said you were here to win now. And the problem with him is, like, regardless of the mistakes, whatever, I expected him to hold the guys accountable. And you have Tony Adams after a piss poor tackle attempt back on the field and not playing Malachi Moore. You have Isaiah Williams, who saves the return from going out of going out of bounds and getting it to the 40. And you fair catch a ball at 3. Like, this is the guy you brought in to not save your return unit, but like, this is the guy you brought in and he doesn't know. And like, the funny thing is too, after that play, he looked surprised. Like, he looked to his left and his right and behind him. He's like, oh crap. Like, I'm right by the goal. Like, how do you not know that, dude? Like, again, literally high school football, Jake, you were taught 10-yard line, let it bounce over your head.
Yep.
Now, I understand in a situation, like, there's situational stuff. Okay. The blocking unit does a really good job. The ball's at the 8-yard line and you need to make a play. Fine. Like, I get that stuff, but they were there and your fair catch it, I believe, is actually at the 3. Like, what are you doing? So hold the guy accountable. And then he makes excuses for him. Like, oh, we're not going to cut him because of it. Like, how? Like, that's his only job. And you don't know what you're doing. It's just,
what bothered me, Joe?
inexcusable.
The fact that he was out there for punt returns after he already fumbled the kickoff in the 3rd quarter. You can't put him out there after that. That's
and why is Braylon Allen out there? Why is Braylon Allen out there?
Why? Makes no sense. He got hurt on that play. Makes no sense.
There's no reason. Isaiah Davis, I don't know if he's on the other side in that play. Isaiah Davis has actually been a pretty good returner, but like, Arian Smith has some speed, FYI. So why not put him back there or anybody else? Braylon Allen, just not the fleetest of foot. Like, he's like fast top end speed, but he's not shifty. And he's your primary backup running back. Like, it's just literally nothing makes sense. But again, it's just another year. I'm very used to it, as are you, even though we still have our blow ups, no doubt.
It never ends, baby. Jets football, the pain. Oh, the pain. Here's another question I have for you, Joe, before we get to this next play. This one comes from Joe Beningo.
Do they ever force a damn turnover?
Are we ever going to force a damn turnover or fall on a fumble? My God, it's insane.
You saw the Cisco play. Like I said, when you have guys running wide open, you're not going to fumble it or not going to throw an interception because there's, you have a 20-yard window to throw a ball. And like the fumble thing is it's weird too, because it legitimately seems like the ball has a magnet in it and the opposing team has magnets like in their pants or something, because it just bounces right to them every single time. It's not like the Jets are there and they're bobbling the ball and all this stuff. I thought Clemens had an opportunity to recover one a couple of games ago, but they get really unlucky bounces on fumbles. But you got to punch a ball out. Cisco, don't hesitate. Pick a ball off. Sauce, you're paid a lot of money. Pick a ball off. Don't get beat by a retired SoundCloud rapper for a touchdown. It's just, I don't know, man. At a certain point, it has to get better. I don't think it could be this bad forever. They're on a historic pace right now in terms of their defense. And again, they have talent. Like they have all pros on the defense. It's not like the 2020, 2021 Jets where they had absolutely nothing. They're way too talented to be playing like this.
Robert Saleh won 4 games in 2021 with a way worse roster. This team better win at least 4 games or more. It shouldn't be this bad.
Adam Gase won 7 games with a much worse roster than even 2021 and 2020 with Frank Gore and Brashad Perryman and Robbie Anderson and the worst offensive line in the league and nobody on defense. And yeah, some of those games were crap, but you won 7 games. Like this is, I get the people who are okay, don't fire him, all that stuff, but I don't understand the acceptance of it and the excuse making of it. You have to just see what it is, and it's been brutal so far. So call it out as so. Just the excuse making of, oh, well, we were almost in this game and almost in that game. 1, it's moral victories, and 2, some of these teams are trying to hand us the games. The Bucs try to hand us the game. The Steelers were not great on defense at all, and the Dolphins suck. So like, why are we taking moral victories for losses? It just doesn't make sense to me. Call it out. They suck right now.
Well, you know why. People love the dance, baby. I can't, man. You're spot on, 1,000%. And are you ready to start reviewing film on quarterbacks, Joe Blewett? Because right now the Jets hold the number 2 pick.
That's the worst part of it. Like I texted you, that's the thing. I don't want to do it like literally at all. But I'm gonna be forced to at a certain point, and I am dreading watching college film in October, November. I don't enjoy it, especially with quarterbacks. I don't love it. But here we are. I'm sure we'll be talking about Nussmeier or whatever in a few weeks. And
Fernando Mania, baby. Fernando Mendoza. I saw Dom C had a profile on him on JetX this week. So Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's brutal. Speaking of brutal, I could already see what the headline is for this one. This clip, folks, is titled "Jets Blown Defense." Joe, take it away.
Yeah, this entire thing is just blown defenses, but you have a situation where holy crap, the Jets are biting so hard on play action. You have Sauce, who it looks like it's a cover 3 replace or a cover 3 cut, where if to the top of the screen, if this route's a quick crosser drag over, then you have if it's a cut, then he just cuts down on it. If it's a replace, then you have a situation where Tony Adams cuts down on the route, and then Sauce Gardner replaces him in the high single third. Or in the middle single third, and Sauce passes it off. You'll see him to the top of the screen to Tony Adams, who doesn't take it. Like, what is going on? He's wide open. Obviously, the linebackers are sucked up all the way to the line of scrimmage. That happens all the time, but it's as simple as that. Like, you could quite literally this, and I don't know how they're 2.5-point underdogs to the Cowboys, because the Cowboys can at least pass the ball. And they might put up 50. We'll see. Hopefully they win. Obviously we want them to win. You know what it is? Like, people think, oh, negativity sells and stuff. It doesn't. It may be for a clip on Twitter, but my views have dropped probably 500% already. Literally 500%. Because who wants, like, realistically, you have like a show where it's entertaining. You have Beast Breaker and all these guys on. Who wants to watch film breakdowns? Like, nobody wants to watch the game again. Like, you want to watch positivity. So my views are struggling, but it is what it is. I'm so used to it. No,
man, I totally feel it. Because even like I can tell you, like, this show and all the other content creators, I've talked to them about this. We don't do well when the Jets don't do well. Like, so right now we're in the anger phase. But if they keep losing, if they're 0-6, we get to the bye week and they got one win, people just check out. That's it. No one's going to want to hear about this team anymore. Mm-hmm. They're going to come back in the offseason for the coaching changes and who we're going to hire there, and then we'll get into draft talk and free agency. Like, that's when people will be back. So it's literally the worst. For anyone who makes their living covering a bad football team like you and I do, like, losing does not sell. It's good for a couple weeks when the anger stage is there and we're all pissed, and then people just check out. Apathy sets in, and then see you in the offseason.
Yeah, if it's like an anger thing where, like, hey, they missed the playoffs by one game, like Buffalo Bills game 2015 type stuff, and like, yeah, but consistently, no. And again, like, people don't want to watch the game the first time. Who wants to watch the game a second time? Like, that's my problem. I don't. So why do other people? It's just, so for the people who are still rocking with Jake and obviously watching the film with me, obviously super appreciative, but again, hopefully this makes it all better when they actually do win, because I cannot imagine the party in New York and the parade and all that stuff. Like, I am going to do. There can be no cameras, Jake. I don't know if we'll meet up or anything like that. Absolutely no cameras. Everybody leave their shit at home, because the things that would be happening and said, I cannot be recorded in that time. So I'll probably lose my job. So do me a favor and leave your phones at home, please.
Oh my God. Good question here from JD on that last play when you showed Sauce passing off the coverage. He says, isn't Sauce paid to talk coverage and to communicate with teammates? How much of these type of things is on a guy like Sauce, who has the responsibility of that big contract, supposed to be, the top corner in the league, right? Like, when you look at what you see from him, not even just on that play, like, how responsible do you think a guy like Sauce is for some of the issues this secondary has had?
Well, he can only communicate what the coach is telling him, right? Again, it's another thing where we don't have the like. Again, I don't want to be sitting on the fence, but it's legitimately hard to know, because is Wilkes giving them that flexibility, and then Sauce is not acting upon it because he's not seeing it. But realistically, with that play that you saw on the rub route on 3rd and 10, like, if they were in a tighter bunch, then I think it would be called by the defense, like, hey, this is a banjo, play first and first out. But because they were so separated, you're not really going to have like a typical banjo call. It's just they have the right call versus the right coverage. But also a part of that is the fact that the Jets don't disguise stuff. So these offenses can get into the perfect calls because the Jets don't disguise things, so they know to, okay, run a delayed wheel route and set a pick. So I don't think that one's on Sauce, because again, they were so far apart. I think that was more on Michael Carter to either jet stream that or play it over the top. But again, for like specific incidences, again, it could be hard to tell, because exactly what is Wilkes telling them, what flexibility is he giving them. But you see Sauce communicating. Sauce picks up zones well. He communicates well. He points things out well. That's one area I cannot criticize Sauce, because I've seen him do that throughout his career, where he is a good communicator. So I can't kill him for that. My biggest loss the last year or two is the feet. He needs to be more consistent with his base and stop catching guys and delivering blows. You saw with the Waller touchdown, a little bit off balance. He goes to hug him instead of getting a hand into the chest and then gets beat there. So Sauce needs to be more consistent with his feet. It's his biggest problem, undoubtedly.
We're presented by FanDuel. You heard Joe already mention the line. As of right now, 4:42 Eastern on Wednesday, October 1st, The Jets are 2.5-point underdogs at home against the Cowboys. But Joe, don't worry, because the Jets are focused on the right things on social media. They're going to be rocking the black jerseys, already announced.
Yeah, that's everybody's gonna be saying the funeral game, right? You have the Jet. Listen, when your team is highlighting kickers, highlighting that on their social media, that folk can make it from 60 pre-game or whatever. It's like, this is bad when we're talking about kickers. So hopefully this is not their funeral. And I know against with Gase, we had a Cowboys win in Week 5 a couple of years ago.
The Jamal Adams game, Robbie Anderson, Sam Darnold back from mono game.
The funny part about that one was I was so down on the team. I actually sold my tickets. I went to the racetrack and I was hammered, and I actually ended up dropping the money out of my track pants. I lost like $250, just fell out of my pocket. But they won, so maybe this week I'll go back to the whatever that arena is. I don't know what it is, FanDuel or whatever that betting arena is. Maybe I'll go there, and then we can win the game, because that's where I won with that game. So.
Well done. By the way, here's your Jets social media team highlighting Nick Folk, which I love, but we're already highlighting kickers, and we haven't even made it to October yet, and it's unreal.
Again, it's season's over halfway through September. It's confirmed over now. Like, nobody makes it at 0-4. I don't know if maybe one or two teams have before. But
the 92 Chargers, Joe. Come on, the Jets are just like the 92 Chargers.
Yeah, I don't think so, but here we are. I guess we can hope for it, and by Friday, Saturday, we'll convince ourselves that we're that Chargers team. But then reality will set in, and we'll all be pissed off again on Sunday at 4:00, or probably like not even 4:00, 1:12. We'll all be pissed off, probably. So
first coverage breakdown. So 107 if they don't start with the ball.
Or you drive down the field and you fumble it at the one. It's like, at that point, it's like, okay, this is going to be, if not a loss, it's going to be a very long, fought, hard game for the Jets to win. It's just, it seems like these games are over in the first second, or literally the first 5 minutes of the game, the game's field over. So here we are again.
NFL Memes checks in. Jake, please stop calling Sauce until he gets an interception. Call him by his government name, Ahmad Gardner. P.S. Bet Dak Prescott under for INT. I'm kicking myself. I did not bet the Tua not to throw a pick prop, because it was plus money on FanDuel, because he had thrown an interception, at least one, in every game, but that was before he played the Jet defense. So I will definitely be taking the bet on Dak under for interceptions this week. And if he happens to throw a pick, I'd be glad to lose my money in that scenario.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this game. George Pickens is one of the receivers I hate watching the most in the NFL. He just takes advantage of the rule book today, and it's brutal. He's hard to defend because of the rule book. Like, that's the only thing that makes him a good receiver. I think if this was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, he'd be very average at best, because he's a contested catch guy, but he takes advantage of the pass interferences. And watch him do exactly what Garrett did, but not get a PI. I guarantee it happens. You have twice that happened against the Bucs. Ibuka pushed off a Sauce in the same way, one-handed catch, and then Mike Evans with a much more egregious, extension into Sauce. Sauce tries to defeat the elbow to wipe it away so he can close that ground. They don't call it on Mike Evans. They actually called on Sauce on 3rd and 29. So get ready for 1,000 George Pickens OPIs that aren't called, and maybe even call them Jets, because they're trying to defend the arm being extended. So I'm not looking forward to watching this game, and I'll be there like an idiot.
God bless, man. You and a bunch of Cowboys fans are going to be there. It's going to be tough. NFL Meme says, Jake, I donated $5. Here goes another $5. Can I join the raffle for the Klecko jersey, please? I played on the Little Jets in Houston and wore 73. NFL Memes, you are in the raffle officially with this super chat, and your other one, we will allow it. Appreciate the support. You're in for 2. We'll take your 2 $5 super chats and combine them. Right now, no one has gifted a channel membership, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to potentially gift 5 memberships, and not potentially. All right. I'm making it happen right now. I'm gifting a 5 spot for the community. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 memberships being gifted. If you hear your name called after I gift these, you are in the Joe Klecko signed jersey raffle for 5. Hit it, Beningo.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
My favorite Joe B clip ever in the history of his appearances on our show each and every week. O'Shea Barton, Magna Rads, Thomas Sandler, Kelly Maria, and Tibbs. You guys are all officially Asmaniacs and in the Asmaniac raffle for a Klecko jersey signed by the man himself at the end of the show. All right, Joe, here we go. More clips break this next one down for us. The pain never ceases to stop as we continue to talk about the debacle in Miami.
Yeah. And I maybe I'm a little bit like old man, get off my lawn stuff too. But like at first, I'll be honest, and maybe I'm an old guy for 32, but like I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, and I was like, is it a girl? Like, what is going on here? And like I like even like Kendrick Lamar, like I like some of his music, but I don't know if it was just me. I couldn't understand a word he was saying in that entire halftime, show last year. So it's like what happened to like, and obviously, not Aerosmith now, but like just give me something to listen to. Like Bad Bunny isn't. My wife was like, oh yeah. He sings in mostly Spanish. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I just don't understand. I don't know, dude. Nonetheless. So yeah, a little bit old man. This one, another blown deal. Okay. Yeah. So this one you have, to the right side of the screen, you have Isaiah Oliver, standing over number 89, the Y tight end. He runs a slide route underneath of the offense, and he passes it off to Sherwood, who will then be responsible for it. If he switches the poorly he's playing.
Why'd they give him the I obviously wasn't on board with it, but like that's my big issue I have when people are like, oh, Glenn's got to get his guys. Well, some of the decisions they made were to retain the guys they inherited. They chose to pay Sherwood, right? And like he's got to get his guys. His guy was Brandon Stevens. They gave him $36 million. They didn't have to give him that contract. Like that's what gets me really annoyed when it's like, oh, what'd you expect? He's got to get his guys on this defense. And it's like they had 8 of their 11 starters back. There is talent on this defense. Like, yeah. I hate that excuse. That to me is a loser's mentality. If that's your excuse for why this defense has sucked ass.
Yep, battered women. It's and I know Sabo was on the train of like, hey, that's not a great contract. And I was kind of in the same. I was like, okay, they're paying him for what they hope he is. This is not what he is so far. Like, he's been decent to solid, but $15 million, you're talking about one of the better linebackers in the league. I don't know where that ranks exactly. It's pretty high up there, but
I think it's in the top 10.
He was, a little bit of a shorter sample size with him in terms of being good. And he was never great in coverage, spot dropping, not finding guys, not relating guys. So yeah, solid in the run game, but that's not all you're paying for. This is a passing league nowadays. And he's never been really great in coverage. Even as a safety, he's just not in the right spot at the right time. So that contract is obviously not looking good. I'm assuming they have to keep him next year too. We'll see. It just hurts even again. And I know he's a leader and stuff. I don't know if you watch like the pregame stuff, but like his speech before, he's just very like monotone. He does not. I don't know how great of a leader he really is. He just doesn't have like that CJ Mosley umph, and clearly they're missing him quite a bit because you got to be smart to pass these things off. And you have a slider out, which is like basic 101 football stuff, passing things off, and you have guys running wide open. So what else? What else do you do? Just get on your P's and Q's and start to not blow defenses consistently. Maybe you can actually win a freaking game, but the way they're going now, they're going to be historically bad in terms of Jets defenses. So
Larry Romano says, Jake resents Glenn for showing Rodgers the door. Simple as. He gave Saleh 4 years. I didn't give Saleh anything. I gave Saleh an opportunity because I saw what his quarterback situation was, and I actually thought it was a decent job in 2022 in his second year to have the Jets at 6-3 and 7-4 before Zach Wilson imploded. They benched him, had to go back to him because Mike White got hurt. Saleh got 2023. They won 7 games without Rodgers, right? And then he got a 4th year because they got a mulligan for 2023. And at least Saleh was great with his side of the ball. Aaron Glenn's defense is horrible. And I'm not anti-Glenn. I'm simply anti-losing every week. I want to see progress. I want to see results. Joe, you're watching the film every week. Can you honestly say this football team is better coached right now than they were at any point the last 4 years?
Yeah, no way. I just think it's a thing where, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think it's a thing where we just want to see a competitive football team that's not a laughing stock of the NFL.
They don't have a win. They're one of 3 teams in the league without a win. That's insane.
I thought we'd at the minimum be competitive. I thought at the minimum that Glenn would hold guys accountable. That's what he preached, and he's not doing that. So I think it's just frustration because we've been an embarrassing level of football team so far. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't think you expected 2-2 after 4. I'm sure at the beginning of the season, like 1-3, like, yeah, it sucked, but you'd probably, that's realistic. But it's just the way they're losing, the way they're blowing defenses. Like, listen, if they were getting beat because unfortunately, Tyreek Hill was matched up against Tony Adams because they schemed that way, like, fine. Like, if you're losing on talent, then okay, but you're losing on, again, elementary stuff that I'm showing here. So that's why I'm frustrated. It's not because of anything. It's because they look like a JV team. They look like Middle Tennessee, like these announcers are joking about. It's just embarrassing. You're not competing. He's not holding guys accountable like he promised.
Yeah, and to me, I think also why a lot of Jet fans like you and I are so upset is I think we thought a major issue for this team would be the quarterback. And I got news for you. I don't know how you feel about Justin Fields. He's played well enough in his 3 starts to be 2-1. Like, obviously, he was awful against the Bills, but he was really good week 1. I thought he played certainly well enough for a lot of that game on Monday to get the win. I thought they would be awful because I never believed in the quarterback. I don't know if he's the long-term answer, but I think Fields has been fine, and they should have more than 0 wins right now. That's why I'm pissed. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired of watching losing football. They couldn't even get to October with the season still alive. They're 0-4. Like, stop making it out to be like I'm anti-Glenn. I'm anti-losing. I want to win. This coach came in and said, we're going to win now and going forward. This coach came in and said that they're going to be disciplined. They're going to stop the penalty problem. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to hold guys accountable. And then I got to listen to Glenn yesterday say Isaiah Williams, we don't want to cut him. He's got to learn from it. What? That's the opposite of what you said, that if you hurt the football team and make mistakes, you won't play. And then this guy's fair catching a punt at the 2 after he fumbled to start the 3rd quarter. So, like, I just want I want Glenn to be true to what he was saying, because what he was saying, it was what you want to hear, but they're not doing what we were promised they were going to at least show, and the expectations were as low as they've ever been going into a Jets season.
Yeah, and if you show me the schedule, I look at the schedule pre-season and stuff. Like, I can imagine a world they're 0-4. Like, the first 3 teams were better than them, even though not an excuse, and Dolphins, whatever, but at least be more competitive. And people are going to say, oh, well, the 1-score games, all that stuff, but you know what it is. They were watching bad football. I don't care about the end score. It's the process at times. It's not necessarily the result. And holding guys accountable. Like, I don't understand with Williams the fumble, it happens. Like, you fumble balls, which, by the way, I think another stat I saw, maybe it was Smini put it out on Twitter or whatever it was, or somebody quoting him, but I think the Jets have more fumble returns on kickoffs than the entire league combined this year.
They do. They're the only team that has 2 fumbles on kickoffs. That's it. No one in the league has one besides the Jets, who have 2.
Oh, so nobody has even one in the entire league?
Exactly. No one even has one.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand. Hey, he's fighting for extra yards. He's trying to make a play. Okay, like that's a play where you could not excuse it, but you understand it, right? But on that same play, he saved it from going out of bounds. Idiot. You fair catch a ball at the 3. Idiot. So, like, I understand the stuff that it's a holding, unnecessary roughness, a defenseless receiver. Those plays you could excuse because they're during the play or whatever. You're trying to fight hard and all that, but the pre-snaps, 6 pre-snap penalties on offense when you're not a good offense in general, like, it's going to put you behind the 6 is inexcusable. Fair catching at the 3 or the 2, unexcusable. Saving a ball from going out of bounds, unexcusable. Like, we have players. I don't know what game it is, Jake. I'm sure you've seen it in the past, but it's like the play where the ball's rolling out of or near out of bounds, like the player lays down to grab the ball out of bounds. It was like years and years ago. And we have guys who are saving the ball from going out of bounds. Like, so it's inexcusable type of play. Again, I understand penalties, but it's the type of penalties they are. It's the type of bad play that they're doing. So again, I'm not saying that, I expected the Jets to be 2-2 or 3-1, but the way they're playing is inexcusable. And I at least expected competency, and we're not even getting close to competency. Same thing for Justin Fields. This wasn't the Bills game. There wasn't a lot of guys running open. Realistically, I think he played okay in this game, good enough to win considering the running game. You see all the stats, the running game, all this stuff. Like, the stat line looks good, but unfortunately, 3 turnovers, all these penalties, you're just not going to win games in today's NFL unless you're an elite team. The Jets are not that.
Yep. I mean, they have a very small margin for error because their play style is they want to run the ball, which inevitably gives you less possessions, which means you're going to play tighter games. And if you're not buttoned up, you're not going to win like that. And also, Glenn's got to get his guys. They chose to go into the year without a legit number 2 wide receiver. They chose to do that. They chose to go into the year and depth-wise, not bringing anyone with Jermaine coming off injury to allow Michael Clemens to play as much as he has. So, while Glenn certainly needs more time, we're talking about 4 games. Early on, I have not been impressed with anything I've seen, and that's incredibly disappointing. That's all we're saying. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully they beat the Cowboys. Does anyone actually think they will?
Yeah, at the minimum, don't blow defenses and hold guys accountable. We're not getting any of that. So the excuse making needs to stop. Like, we know bad football when we see it. And I'm not saying fire him, but I expected more at this point. Don't give me the 1-loss stuff because the Bucs, miracle play to make it even a 1-score game. This game, Dolphins took their foot off the gas, and same thing with the Bucs. They took their foot off the gas. It's just, when do we see competency? That's at the minimum what I want to see.
I agree. Any other film from this game before we get to some Brownley stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to do we could do the Brownley stuff a different day, or we could do it now. Obviously, your call. It's been an hour, but I could do the Brownley stuff now if you want to.
Yeah, let's knock it out. Let's give people something positive. The Jets are likely to get Jarvis Brownley, who they acquired from Tennessee, making his debut, filling in for the injured Michael Carter. And if he plays well, it just could be his job, because this guy, to me, at least watching from afar, feels like an Aaron Glenn type of player. So Joe has some film on Brownley from his Titans days. We'll go through a couple plays here, and we will see what exactly the Jets are going to be getting starting hopefully Sunday.
Yeah, I'll give you. I was going to do the negative plays too. I'll just do like 4 or 5 positives. We'll do them quickly because I know we're I don't know if I'm running out of time or whatever, but I'll do.
Take all the time you need, Joe.
Yeah. So okay. To the right side of the screen, number 29. This is him in the run game. An area he's undoubtedly going to help is the run game, is the screen game. He's excellent in those areas. Again, we'll talk about the weaknesses. I go through it in the actual video a little bit more in depth in terms of the technique and stuff he's using here, but he's trying to force the run back inside and does a very, very good job. A little bit laggy on my side. I'm not sure if it's laggy on your side too, but good job in terms of getting low, taking on the receiver with both hands inside. Good leverage. You can kind of see him work his hands left and right just to keep that extension. The running back takes it a little bit more vertical at first, so he kind of guesses inside, sees the running back getting more outside, sheds, gets outside. And the thing I love about this play too is that's very underrated when people are watching this play, and I'm just doing it, I'm rewinding it just frame by frame here, is right here where he defeats the stiff arm. So it's something that not a lot of guys do in the moment, but when that stiff arm comes out, you can't just let it land in your chest and your shoulder. You have to defeat the stiff arm, air quotes, defeat the stiff arm. He sees the stiff arm coming, defeats Mixon's stiff arm, and then makes the tackle for loss. So something the Jets are desperately lacking from their secondary is good tacklers, minus Azaria Thomas, who's not playing, and Stevens, who's actually a solid tackler. They need this desperately, and this hell of a play from Brownley in the run game to set the edge and then make the tackle, defeat the stiff arm, tackle for loss. So excellent play from Brownley in the run.
Love that. Hopefully he helps in the tackling department for sure. It's hard to be much worse. All right, here is Brownley with another play here against the Colts. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one's starting a little bit weird again. I don't know why it's starting from the back view and not the side view. I'm going to pull up a different one, Jake. I don't know what's going on with that. Something with StreamYard is happening. Let's see if I can just pull up another one. Okay, this one's another good example of a screen. We'll pivot. Okay, so bottom of the screen, you have Brownley, who's in press coverage on this receiver. They run like a smoke screen to the bottom of the screen. We have Brownley, who initially, opens up and he's playing it like a receiver route. He notices the smoke screen and looks like a situation where, okay, if he knew the ball was going to be high and he knew it was going to be late, he'd probably jump it or attack the receiver. He expects the ball to be on time, so he sees the block coming from the slot receiver right here. And takes the fight to the blocker, gets into the blocker's chest, pops him up, maintains his leverage outside, makes a tackle. Very, very good awareness in the screen game from Brownley. Again, another thing that the Jets are desperately lacking. And I got to know people are going to be like, oh, well, the ball was late. He could have jumped it. Yeah, 100%. But he's expecting the ball to be there quickly, so he plays it right. Again, it's the process of how he plays that, taking on the block and then making the tackle. So again, excellent play in the run game, excellent player in the screen game, and then also very good in terms of his athleticism, his aggression. He's easily the most aggressive player on the Jets defense. It's either him or Quincy, but he's easily at least 1 or 2. So we need that aggression. We need guys who are going to play, like psychopaths. Just realistically, we need some heart on this defense because we don't have it. So.
Psychopaths on the defense. I like it. All right. What do we got here, Joe?
Yeah, so this is some of him in coverage. Again, and he's a little bit iffy in coverage at times, but he's on the bottom of the screen in press coverage. I believe this is against Mims, and he does a really, really good job here in press coverage. And we'll see it a little bit. I'm not going to do the weaknesses, I don't think, on this one. One of the problems he does have is he tends to jump split a little bit at the snap where his feet kind of widen. When your feet widen, your hips drop back. When your hips drop back, you're not unbalanced, and you're not unbalanced, and your base is too wide. Your hips are locked, and your hips are locked. You can't move laterally as well. So that's one of his problems in press. And then there's times where he just needs to be more trusting of his feet and his technique, and he gets a little bit jumpy. And you see that a little bit here with the hands dropping and the feet spreading. But overall, he stays square, which is very, very good. He opens up with the receiver outside. He gets his right hand on, Now he doesn't want to necessarily fight to keep this hand attached, because if he does, he's gonna be off balance because he's bowling the route outside very hard. So he takes that right hand off, replaces it with the offhand, and then rides the route out to the sideline, gets the eyes back for the football just in case it is there, which is another good thing that he has, that he doesn't look back for the football too early. And that's something that people don't understand, is like, oh, he doesn't look back for the football. If you look back for and obviously it's all dependent on the play, zone coverage, man coverage, but like man coverage, if you look back for the football and there's no contact on the receiver, you're looking back for it too early. You look back for the football once you have position, once you have leverage. And that's exactly what we see here. Again, good job staying square, opening up, gets the offhand jam on, rides it out to the sideline, looks back for the football. Excellent coverage in press coverage right there from Brownley. Got another one in him in off coverage with the pass deflection. This is as good of off coverage as you're going to see. Again, he's a little bit inconsistent in coverage, but it's the flashes he's showing. And it's not just flashes. He shows it with some consistency. But to the bottom of the screen right here, I believe it's Alex Pierce on a speed out, and Brownley plays it amazingly for a pass deflection. So does a good job of staying square at first. Once Pierce closes some more ground with an outside stem, he opens up to the outside because that's where he's stemming him. But he plays it nice and patient, right? Doesn't open up too early. He opens up in that 3 to 5 yard window. You want to start to open up, because if you're flat-footed, if you're square, they're going to run past you. So opens up with good timing, anticipates an outbreak because of the outside stem, matches the break very, very well. And then from the other angle, we'll see him, hopefully, we'll see him play the ball really well. What you want to do here as a corner is, with that upfield arm, the left arm in this instance, is grab that hip or the ribs. You want to pull yourself through a little bit, and then you want to stab through the arms, stab through the football. You don't want to swipe. I talk about that in my longer reviews, but basically swiping gives you, like, if the ball is coming and you swipe, it gives you a limited time to actually deflect the football. When you stab through, your arm is there longer. So he does a really good job stabbing through the catch point and then making the play on the ball. So excellent play from him. Again, stab, don't swipe. Another thing quickly too, to get nerdy into the stab versus swipe. When you swipe and you miss the football, your body is naturally going into the ground because your arm is going down into the ground. So you end up falling and not being able to tackle. When you stab, even if you miss the football, you can then wrap the guy. So fantastic job from Brownley on that one. And I got one more positive, and then you let me know if you want to do any negative. But we got a rerouting in cover 2, which is nice. The Jets don't run a lot of it. I don't even think the Titans ran a lot of it, but it just shows, again, like attention to detail, not being lazy with his assignment. So top of the screen, let's see, big red arrow, right? This is maybe what I should do for your shows, do the arrows. But big red arrow, you can see where he is. He's in cover 2. He's responsible. He's the cloud corner. He's responsible for the curl to flat to the top of the screen. Waddle, on the top of the screen, maybe he could have done this week if he was healthy. But reroutes him really, really well. Shuffles with them, gets hands on, throws them to the ground legally within 5 yards. You have Tyreek Hill on a drag route underneath. He does a really good job getting back out to the curl to flat, squaring up Waddle, closing ground quickly, but not being overzealous. And then Waddle just Tyreek Hill dips out of bounds because he knows Brownley is going to bring him down. So an excellent job in terms of, again, rerouting, throwing him to the ground, and then squaring up and forcing, again, a 2-yard completion on 2nd and 8. So excellent job.
I'm excited about this player. I mean, it's something. Hopefully he can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't understand giving up on him. I know like Titans fans try to spin it after. It's like, oh, he's a locker room cancer. There's some problems in college or whatever. Obviously, again, we don't have all the information. We don't know. Maybe the staff was kind of just done with the penalties. I don't know. But he had 3 in week 1, and he gets grabby. Like, undoubtedly, there's plays in the review that you'll see where he gets grabby unnecessarily, where he just needs to what we call gesture the wide receiver. And it's perfect, too. I sent it to Sam, our editor, or my editor, because he talks about in his press conference, the initial one is like, hey, I need to get the hand on the hip or you can get it onto the hip or the ribs. You don't want to get the hand high. It's called gesturing the wide receiver. You kind of push him to the inside or to the outside. So you're kind of guiding him, and you also feel if he breaks, right? If your hand's in the hip and you feel him breaking down, you break down. So he needs to gesture the wide receivers more instead of grabbing them. That's one of his biggest problems, but I don't understand giving up on a guy who has the aggression he has, who has the mindset he has, who has the athleticism, very fast, very strong, good arm length. So I don't understand why they gave him up, but maybe that's why the Titans are a bad team like the Jets, giving up on players too early or whatever it may be. But yeah, I'm very excited about what he can offer to the defense, especially in screen and run game.
Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. If you guys have any questions for Joe, write it in. Joe, you got time for a couple calls?
Yeah, I'm good.
Fantastic. All right. First, this one is from Ant Banks, who says, y'all ain't going to be complaining about the Super Bowl halftime show with big booty Latinas shaking things. Ant Banks, thank you for your support. This is for you.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
I have played that clip of Joe from yesterday's show so many times over the last 24 hours. I laugh every time. So Ant
It's gonna be one of those things where, like, if there are big booty Latinas, which I have a weakness for, I'm not gonna lie. It'd be one of those things where my wife is watching it next to me, and like I gotta have the phone out because I'm like staring at the screen. As soon as I feel her start to look over, I gotta look at the screen, like, what is this garbage on the TV? So I gotta hide it well. So thank you, Bad Bunny. At least if we're getting some big booty Latinas, we'll take it at the minimum.
Patrick says, Joe effing Blewett, about time you had this expert on. Well, Patrick, I guess you haven't been watching the last couple either Tuesdays or in this case Wednesdays because they played Monday.
Yeah.
Joe will be on with us pretty much every week during the season here, his schedule permitting, but so far so good. We love having Joe on.
Yeah, no, as long as we're flexible, I would love to be on as many weeks as I could be on. It's obviously a great platform, and I appreciate the invite. So hopefully I'll be here breaking down film for a good amount of time. Just hopefully it's not bad film for much longer because this is the end brutal.
That would be nice. If you're tuning in late, folks, we have a sick giveaway. Signed Joe Klecko jersey. Right now, no one's gifted a membership besides me. So if you ever wanted to win an Asmaniac raffle prize, including a signed jersey by a Jet legend, this is the day for you. Get the membership to qualify or send in a $10 super chat. If you don't win, you're automatically entered in next Tuesday's weekly raffle featuring a signed Sauce jersey, Corbett signed football, and a Joe Namath, Broadway Joe Namath signed helmet. Let's get to a couple calls now with the great Joe Blewett. This guy was begging to talk to you, Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to say hello to Bobby Midnight, who I will introduce by playing this.
J-O-B, job. Yeah, I've been looking today. I went to Indeed again. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
What's going on, Bobby? I appreciate you wanting to speak to me.
Yeah, I talked to you before, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you called into my show once. I remember that.
You called into the Joe Blewett show, Bobby?
No, when he was on here, I called him.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I think it was my show one time, Bobby. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was on somebody else's show. I don't know if I've ever actually even done calls, to be honest. So maybe I'm just tripping a little bit.
I think I talked to you on Jake's show. I'm pretty positive.
Oh, okay.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you're great. You break down film very good. I wanted to tell you.
Thank you.
Those referees really stink, right? Really bad.
Yeah. I just recorded a show on how bad the refs were. Not saying that the Jets would win this game if the refs weren't that bad, but all I want is consistency.
Come on, that wasn't an offensive pass interference.
Yeah, again, it's about consistency. Like, was it a push off? Technically, yes, but if you're not going to call that on Mike Evans and Ibuka the week before against Sauce, then you can't call it on Garrett Wilson. It's all about consistency.
Okay. What about the late hit on their tight end? He was down on the ground. The guy landed on him and punched him in the helmet. What happened there?
That was the most egregious one. You had the Fields one. I had another one I highlighted where Harrison Phillips is clearly held on a run play, not called. So yeah, it was brutal. Rucker was down for a good second, and you have a fatty jump on top of his back. His head slams into the turf.
What the hell is that? Are you blinding in the bat? He's standing right there, you idiot.
Are bats blind, Bobby?
I think they are. They have sonar radar, I think.
Also, Bobby, I know Gators especially thrilled that he gets your bi-daily Indeed.com applying for jobs update.
Yeah, get a job. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's right. J-O-B, job.
Hey, I want to ask before I leave, how's the baby doing?
Oh, great. He is awesome. Got another one coming in February. So
congratulations. You're so young.
Breaking down some.
Man, I'm an old fart, 57. I have one daughter. She's 19. So how old is the baby now?
Jesus. Bobby, thank you. I can't do Bobby Midnight, asking life questions every call. Come on, Bobby.
Can I clarify one thing? So according to AI, no bats are not blind. It is a persistent myth, but they have functional eyes and varying degrees of vision, sometimes even better than humans.
I see you mocking me off air, Bobby.
That was not very nice. It just answered some question. I remember.
I made you the first caller. You come in, you talk about Indeed.com, then you talk about the reps briefly, and now you want to know about Joe's child. This is not very captivating for the audience, Bob. I can't lie to you.
Well, I wanted to ask him the question.
What did you need to ask him?
About the baby.
You could have just typed that. I would have put it up on the screen.
You're a year old?
Oh,
He's a year old now?
Well, you know, I have my own YouTube show. If I'm awake, I'm going live. Unless Jake has a show, I'm Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, how old is your child, Joe?
He's 20 months.
There you go. You're welcome, Bob.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. You good, Bob?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
J-O-B, job.
All right. There you go. A couple of membership shout outs here. Then we'll get to some actual calls before we say goodbye to Joe. Thank you to Michael Duramo, who just gifted a channel membership. And how about this? M123 gifting a 5-spot for the people. Hey now.
They ever force a damn turnover.
If you hear your name called, you got a membership from M123, JB, Lion Bets, Mr. Coliseum, Allen, and Agent Orange. And then how about our king, King Lowski in the house? Hit the Lowski chant. One more. Lowski in our raffle for 5. The following 5 people got a membership from the king: Paul S., Shane Hinton, Geethme Zomer, Charles Barkley, and M. Haddad. Congratulations to everyone who got a membership from the king. All right. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Rob, the Jet fan. Hello, Rob.
Sorry about that. Hey, guys. How's it going today? Hey, Joe.
What's going on, Rob?
Hey, Joe. I mean, I think the best description of the New York Jets is your last name, to be honest with you, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
man.
no.
Make reference.
All of my teams, Rob. All of my teams blew it. It's in my entire life, so I'm used to it.
It's hysterical because, they blew it in free agency. They blew it in evaluation of this defensive team. I mean, they spent $36 million on Stevens, where that money could have been better spent on Clowney, who would have shored up our run defense. Could have been better spent on Keenan Allen, our second wide receiver. That would have helped us out tremendously. And those guys, guess what, would not have cost that much. So, but I tell you, I'm just really pissed because I saw Jake's first show, and it's amazing how there still is a good amount of people who are very confident that Aaron Glenn's going to fix everything. And so far, I really don't see it so far. I mean, it's different because if you're standing there and they go 2-15 or 3-14, and you really don't see this team heading in the right direction, you really got to think of a one and done, in my opinion. I'll start off with that. Then I have just one more thing, Jake. What do you think about that, Joe? First.
Yeah, I think I just saw from Dylan in the chat too. Like, obviously, there's two sides to the free agents in terms of will they sign here?
Rob, I gotta let you go. Your audio was horrendous. It just started being all staticky. But go ahead, Joe. Answer his question.
Yeah. And again, like, I don't mean to be offensive, but like realistically, we have to just like add some context. So was Keenan Allen coming here? Would the Jets offer him money? He's like, no. One, the taxes in New Jersey suck. Which, by the way, Jake, I don't know if you've talked about this. The NFL needs to figure out how, playing versus Miami and Texas, you get paid so much more money than playing in New York or playing in New York. They got to fix that somehow with the tax type differences. But nonetheless, was Keenan Allen going to come to this team? Probably not. Clowney, he's a mercenary. Like, you could have played for Clowney, or you could have paid for Clowney. Probably would have came here. But obviously, there's two sides of the story. And then in terms of the faith in Aaron Glenn, at this point, it's because he's a Jet and you have blind faith and you want to be optimistic. But in terms of signs pointing towards him being a good head coach, there's nothing to show. So it's blind. And in terms of one and done, we'll talk about it when we get there. 2-15, 3-14, whatever.
That's what it would take, right? Like, if we're gonna have the one and done conversation, which for the love of God, I hope we don't ever have to have that talk. We're talking about a team that's 3 wins or less that's picking in the top 3. And it's like, do we want this regime to oversee picking a quarterback that high when they've given you no reason to think they're any good?
Yeah, no, exactly. And we'll have that conversation when we get there. The problem is you get rid of him after a year, then like what coach is going to want to be here? And I get like, hey, John Harbaugh comes available, but what do you fire Aaron Glenn and then you strike out on John Harbaugh and you're sitting there with empty hands? Like it's a very intricate type of conversation. So hopefully we can win 5-6 games. We really don't have to have this conversation. But yeah, in terms of like, oh my God, he's definitely going to turn it around. It's blind faith. We've seen nothing to say, okay, yeah, he's gonna be a good head coach in the NFL.
The one thing I would say is, like, even if it's not Harbaugh, it's just like, you can't, like, the argument to keep Glenn at that point is not just, oh, well, like, who else are you going to get? It's like, if you're that bad, anyone, you got to try something else if that's the decision you're going to make. But I agree with that. I, as bad as it is right now, I don't think they're going to end up picking in the top 2 in the draft. I do expect this team at some point to win some games. I mean, we watched Robert Saleh's first year. They won 4 games with a way worse team.
Yeah, and again, seven with Gase. I'll bring that. It has to get better. And again, you have some games coming up: Panthers, Browns, Bengals, who look awful without Burrow. Falcons. They're gonna win at least 4 games. 4 or 5 games. I don't know, but I don't want to have the coach conversation yet. And Wednesday, October 1st, it's brutal.
Rob, your audio still stinks, but this image of you wearing a bag over your head will never not be funny.
We literally can't even fall on a fumble. I mean, my wife accidentally falls on my dick 1 time a week, and we can't fall on a fumble?
Holy shit already. Will you stop it with the bad language?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Do you see what this team is doing to its fans, Joe?
I love Bonesy. I've seen Bonesy here. I've seen Bonesy a few times on my channel. Bonesy is the absolute man. So, Bonesy, I know you're out there. I love Bonesy.
That's why he's the reigning champ, baby, for Asmaniac Madness. All right, let's do maybe 1 or 2 quick calls with Joe, then we'll let him go. He's given us an hour and plus of his time, which we appreciate. Chuck Wagon, you're next. What's up, Chuck?
Hey, Joe. First time talking to you, so it's nice to hear from you. I was listening to you for about 50 minutes now, and is there anything positive?
Oh no, Chuck Wagon, we lost you, but I think he was going to ask you if there's anything positive you've seen on film, let's say through the first 4 games.
Quinnen Williams, Austin McNamara, Garrett Wilson, Nick Folk. I think Will McDonald had a probably a little bit of an underrated game last game. He was getting there. It's just the ball was out so damn quick. Harrison Phillips, Briggs.
Offensively, I think I thought
the offensive
had
line.
a good game. Yeah, Membu I think looks legit, right?
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good point. The offensive line, Mason Taylor looked good in this game. That 3rd and 8 catch was awesome, just in terms of the awareness to fall backwards, knowing he was short of the sticks. That was awesome. Fashanu, the numbers look bad because the Jets hold the ball forever, but he's been a little bit more up and down than you want, but he's been solid. Membu's been awesome. Tippmann's been very good at right guard. Myers has been better than expected, and Simpson is what he is. He's a little bit volatile, but still good. So the offensive line is undoubtedly not the problem.
I found this tweet from Connor Rogers to be awesome. He talked about both tackles, specifically Olu in the passing game and Membu in the running game. Fields' average time to throw was 3.76 seconds, according to Pro Football Focus. By far the slowest of any QB in week 4. Caleb Williams was next at 3.35. So when you're asking your O-line to hold up longer than any other team in the league, as your quarterback takes forever to throw, there's going to be more pressures allowed. But I think the O-line has actually been fine. Like I don't think there's any real issues with the offensive line to this point. They've been more than competent to this point.
Yeah, they've had some problems like picking up blitzes and stuff. That happens with offensive lines. Like you're not going to be spotless in every single game. I think the problem is receivers aren't getting open. Fields holding the ball too long, realistically. Fashanu's numbers have looked worse than they really are. I think he's been fine. Appreciate that, Bones. I see some people in the chat like, oh my God, you can't say we wouldn't have signed Keenan Allen. I'm not saying that they wouldn't have signed Keenan Allen. It's just you have to add context. Like, oh, if I don't know what his contract was, but the Chargers offered him $10 million. If we offered him 10.5, it would have came here. You don't know that, right? So you can't just say, oh yeah, we definitely could have signed him, because you don't know. He could have said New Jersey sucks. I hate it. It's an ugly state. I'm not moving there. Like, so you start to add context of like, oh, we definitely could have signed this guy. It's not that simple.
One more call, and then we'll say goodbye to Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to check in with the man himself.
open the door. Let's open the video, shall we? Round one. There was one bad play that I did not like, and it was that left side when the Dolphins threw to the one guy and the Jets were like sleeping, like they were falling asleep on the job. Not a smart choice there. Bad move on their hand. Very bad move.
What play was this, Beast?
It was like 15, 20, 25 minutes ago when I was watching, and I'm going, the one player, and this is where number one threw to the left side of the one guy, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, boy, did we fall asleep to that play?
That sounds like every play.
That play should have been figured out right off the bat.
Hey, Joe, do you have that one play handy? We'll put it up on the screen. Have Beast break it down.
Let's see. Running wide open. There was quite a few of them, but I could definitely find one of them. But
pick your favorite wide open play, and we'll have Beast break it down what he didn't like.
Only the one bad play. There's only one. Yeah, let's say blow defense.
Let's go.
I don't know if this is to the left.
Here we go.
To the left.
Is this the play you wanted here?
Here we go.
This is the same play. It's just you have the side view, and then you have the end zone angle.
And nailed right on the goddamn spot.
Hey, Joe, are the Jets playing footsie or tootsie? Is that the issue on defense?
Tootsie roll.
Something like that. Again, Jake, I'll say it every time Beast comes on. I don't know why I'm here. Just being realistic.
Ladies and gentlemen, the film breakdown with Beast. Yeah. Joe, I can't thank you enough for your time. And I know you're a big fan of Beast film reviews, but we have no intentions of replacing you. This weekly spot is still yours if you're willing to keep coming on with us.
I think that's a bad move for your channel, Jake. But if you're going to stupidly bring me back on instead of Beast, then that's your call. I'm not gonna fight you too hard. But looking forward to next week. Hopefully it's somewhat better, right? I'm just gonna shit on the Jets for an hour. Hopefully we can actually talk about some good football. I would absolutely love that.
That'd be fantastic. Joe, I know you go to the game Sunday, so I pray you see a win, man. I really do.
I'm gonna be bringing plenty of whiskey to get me through it. So nonetheless.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Blewett, read and follow all his work, jetsxfactor.com. Check him out on Twitter, YouTube. He's always tweeting clips, film breakdowns, and he's excellent at what he does. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Let me talk about our sponsor today. That's 1v1me. This is an app that if you haven't downloaded, you should. If you like sports, you're going to like this app because sports is all about competition, right? Every snap, every possession, all the clutch moments. That same energy is what 1v1me brings to video games every single day. You can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty Search and Destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has reps. Payouts are instant. These aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene. Pros, streamers, and rivals with season playoffs and championship games on the line. Every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. So if you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, 1v1me is where you need to be. It's not just about winning. It's about bragging rights, too. Every match has the chat going crazy, and you can back your pick in real time. Download today and use code ASMAN. That's my last name, ASMAN. Your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code ASMAN for a risk-free first stake. Comments, questions, super chats cut the line. Leon says Beast needs to do the PFF grades. Not a bad idea. Leon says, I learned from Beast that they should have had it locked down. Jedaholic says, it's impossible to watch the Jets game without alcohol. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. What do we got here in the comments? I think we are all caught up. Fantastic. All right, let's get to more of your calls then. Ladies and gentlemen, for the second day in a row, we say hello to a man in the barbershop. Carlos the Barber's next. Hello, Carlos.
What's going on, fellas?
Los.
How y'all doing?
Living the dream.
I wanted to say that these guys, you got to jump on the Verizon bandwagon, man. Great Wi-Fi. You won't have your call all choppy. Verizon's the way to go.
Is your barbershop sponsored by Verizon?
You know what?
Sound like
no,
it.
But
not a bad idea. Though.
Not a bad idea.
I'll tell you what, if they want to sponsor the show, we will gladly have the conversation.
But this guy right here, he's a Eagles fan. He was with me about 2 weeks ago on call.
I remember him.
I just wanted to show what happens when you get a nice fade.
You got to pull up the. Hey, bro. At least my man's got the Yankee hat on. I'll give him that. He got a Yankee hat on.
I'm converting him to a Jets fan.
Nah.
I'll tell you what. He's got to be rooting for the Jets, though, this weekend. No, we're playing the Cowboys.
Hey, everybody hates the Cowboys.
They're in your division. You got to be rooting for the Jets. Come on.
You mean the Cowgirls? Yeah, I ain't gonna root for the Cowgirls. No.
If you're an Eagles fan, you got to be rooting for who's ever playing Dallas. So you're a Jet fan this weekend.
The 1 weekend out of the year, yeah.
Could you imagine if we had Elijah Vera Tucker?
I think it would definitely help, but I don't know if they'd have another win right now with him because of all the other penalties and everything else.
No. But what I'm saying is that line would be even more solidified.
100%. Unfortunately, they played so many games the last couple of years without AVT. It's a bummer.
So, I was thinking about also how people have been saying, like, we need to bench the cornerback out of Baltimore. Was it Stevens? And the problem why they won't do that is because they paid him all that money. So they'll look like some fools if they go to bench this guy.
Well, maybe they could use him at safety or just find other ways to get AZ Thomas on the field too.
Yeah, we definitely need to see that kid on the field, see what he's got. Something we need to do something on defense because I'm honestly it's killing us. That defense is killing us.
I agree, Carlos, Eagles fan. Enjoy your day.
One more question, Jake.
Yes.
How do you do how do you gift people things? I got this iPhone and
you can't if you're on the iPhone. You got to be on a computer or a laptop.
Okay.
Desktop, laptop, and then instead of hitting SuperChats, hit the gift membership button.
Because I'm usually at work, so I can never catch you like on the laptop and all that stuff. But I was just wondering because I would like to gift something, from time to time.
Hey, if you want to join the raffle, you can just put in a $10 super chat. You'll get 2 tickets.
You know what? I need to because I need to see if I can win me a Klecko jersey.
You could frame it and put it on display in the shop.
Ooh, come on, Jake. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate your time.
Carlos, thank you.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
It's just so good. Of course, Joe doesn't know who Bad Bunny is. Matt P has gifted a membership. He's in the raffle for one. All right, home stretch here. Last chance to get in on the show. Up next on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
I got my Iron I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hello, David T.
So our thing is, at this point in time, you yourself, if you decide to scrap it all and get a big time money making job and talk about sports in general or whatever, we couldn't blame you for it. Don't want to see that happen. But as far as the Jets go,
I'm going nowhere, David, just so you know. This show is here to stay.
Yeah, Jake, I stumbled onto your show and it's so incredible, and that's how I get all my information. You talk to other people that aren't involved with the Jets, and it's like it's just not. I mean, I love the Asmaniacs and the family, and I just love the Jets. So the one point I want to make is I don't know how you would feel about this, but at this point in time with Aaron Glenn, could it be a good time to let Wilkes go, part ways, and maybe not necessarily bring somebody else in or change for change? He's not the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's still 4 games. As angry as we are, I'm hoping it gets better, but I can't lie to anyone. Like 4 games in, this team is poorly coached, and they're no better coached right now than they were under Robert Saleh's staff to this point.
Yeah, it scares me, Jake, because a lot of similarities to Robert, to him, and damage control on the press conferences, and really nice guys, great coordinators, but do they have what it takes to be a really good head coach?
That's the unknown, right? I mean, anytime you hire a first-time coach, right? The guy's never been a head coach. He's only been a coordinator. That's the risk you take. And I'm not saying it can't work, but we're just relitigating the entire conversation in the offseason, why it was never being anti-Glenn. It was, I didn't think this was a job for first-time, especially a first-time GM with a first-time coach. I wanted someone with experience, preferably the head coach. But I mean, the Jets made their bed. We all got to rally around Glenn and hope it gets better, because he's not getting fired 4 games in, right? Like, so let's hope they could figure it out.
Absolutely, and I was on board with all that, and we're in a hot bowl of chili, and it all remains to be seen. But I'll never give up on the Jets. Never give up on your show, and I love it.
David T, we love you, and this is for you, David T.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
David T, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greats. One of the greats. Hey, reminder that if you have not joined the Patreon, you're missing out. It's the place to be. Get into our Discord. I posted a bonus show this morning as well. Name added to the intro. I haven't sent Gator the list of names for October yet. So if you want your name added to our intro, the countdown ticker that plays before every show, make sure you sign up. And if you sign up for the year, not only do you save 15% by doing that, but you also get 10 raffle tickets as well. I also wanted to play this on the first show. So I played the clip of Bonesy earlier talking about the Jets' inability to fall on a fumble. But the Jets are slowly destroying their fans. And before I play this clip, bad language alert. If there's children around, make sure they can't hear this, all right? I gave everyone a fair warning. This is what the Jets are doing to a caller named Pork in the Morning, who normally is very calm, cool, and collected.
Every fucking week. Damn it.
That's what the Jets are doing. So a win on Sunday would be nice. David says Joe Blewett's the best analyst Jake talks to. He's excellent. He really is. Let's see. Mr. Flowers, welcome to the raffle. I was about to say last chance to get in because I'm counting the names as we speak. Your chance to win a signed Joe Klecko jersey is quickly approaching. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the names together, and then we're going to spin the wheel of champions. But first, a short clip. And when we come back, it's raffle time. So get your memberships in right now.
Hey, Bobby, if you can choose what animal you came back as, what would you pick?
A cat.
A cat?
A cat? Like a fucking house cat or like a tiger?
The fucking house cat. I want to be a cat. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Bro, like an eagle or a hawk or some shit. Is the butt hurt Bobby a minute?
You're the hemorrhoid. Meow. What What are you laughing at, Allison? What you guys think? I want to be a house cat. Meow, shut the fuck up. And here's this to you two right there. Now I'm gonna piss. One more crack, I'm ending the show.
You can't make it up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to go to the raffle, but then Nate on the bike called in. Nate, I got like a minute with you because I got to get the show done and uploaded before the Yankees. Go ahead, Nate.
How many times can I say if in a minute? You ready? You want to start counting?
How many times did you say what?
If.
Hitch?
If. I-F.
Oh,
if we get 3 wins, we're firing our coach. If we get 0 wins, right, you're firing him, right? What if we get 7? If we get 7 wins, you firing him, Jake?
I would not fire Glenn if they won 7 games.
Bottom line is everyone needs to relax just a little bit. Like, obviously, the results have been terrible. We hate them. I think Black Gypsy called in this morning, and I agree with him. It's the defense sucks, right? We all agree the defense half showed up. We'd have 2 wins. And, like, we didn't anticipate the guy fumbling 4 times. Again, that's coaching, too. I agree with everyone saying that's coaching. But, as you said, Jake, like, unfortunately, he's kind of learning on the job, too, right? Maybe, like, I heard in training camp, and you were at training camp, right? All the coaches were just like, finish the play, like going through the whistle type. Maybe they need to focus on holding the ball, and everybody needs to yell ball security, and not finish every play. And same with, like, how they're over pursuing tackles because everybody wants to punch the ball out and murder the ball carrier. Maybe they need to, break down, and everybody needs to, like, unfortunately, the coaching is learning. We have one of the youngest teams in the NFL, so, like, the results are somewhat aligning with what was supposed to happen. It just sucks because as Jets fans, we didn't really anticipate this, but I think we should have 2 wins, unfortunately. The defense hold us, a couple fumbles hold us. The penalties have been brutal, but this is not a 0-17 winless, fire the coach type of situation that I'm seeing just in the games. Like, the results are the results. But the games, I'm not seeing an 0-17 fire the football team. And I like Brees is getting behind the coach. Brees is, that one quote that obviously went viral about, like, we're not kicking ourselves in the, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, we're shooting ourselves in the head, right? But Brees also said, like, someone followed up, like, what helps you get up when you guys are 0-4 and go to practice and, want to keep lifting and all that? He's like, I believe in this coaching staff and Aaron Glenn, bottom line. Like, it wasn't a, how do you feel about the coaching staff? They asked him, how do you wake up in the morning? And so at least some of the players at least have to feel that way, So I'm not jumping ship after 4 games, and I don't think we should be calling it for guys' jobs or anticipating X amount of wins and then fire a guy and calling him the next Gerard Mayo. Let's breathe and let's beat Dallas, and that's 1.
I agree with that, Nate, but you realize I've never said I would fire Glenn. People have said, could he be 1 and done? What would have to happen? And then I said if they win 3 or less games.
And my answer be, why are we discussing that right now?
Because they're 0-4.
Yeah,
if we go second in the draft, I'm not going to not discuss it. It's a real possibility.
I get that, but you have to understand. Sure, but the games have to match that ugliness. Like the 4 losses have not been, we're down 4 touchdowns every game and we can't get 10 points. Like, 2 of the games, Jake, if you look at the box score, the Jets won. Like, you would think the Jets won. You'd be shocked because we out gained, rushed, passed everything for what, week 1 and the last week. I
agree with you, Nate, but if they don't win and they finish, let's say, with 3 wins, that's the conversation we're talking about. That's why Gerard Mayo got fired.
Right, but I'm just saying let's give just as much time to the other hypothetical, to where things start to turn around in these 1 possession games, and now we're on a 4-game winning streak.
I think I've said that. I've said I don't think they're going to be that bad. I don't think that Glenn's going to get fired. I think he's the coach. But people calling in, people have said fire him, and I've defended Glenn, saying you can't say fire him after 4 games. But we can acknowledge it's been ugly so far.
It's been ugly. The results have been what it's been. But 2 of the games I was, or at least definitely week 1, I was up on my feet screaming, thinking we had an offense. And then, until Braylon Allen had fumbled that game, I was actually in a bar with other Jets fans. We were all screaming because he was in. I turned around, jumping up and down. I was like, "What do you mean no touchdown?" So I guess unfortunately I am looking at the positives. I know Nick got ripped for that earlier, but it's like, dude, the Jets have an offensive line. Nobody could take that away from them. Like, we have a run game. We got at least 3 or 4 young guys up front that. And then that's what you need in the NFL to win, right? That's how Tampa Bay started winning. That's how the Eagles started winning. That's how all these good teams started winning. Like, you start with at the line of scrimmage. And at least they were at times winning the line of scrimmage battle. When last year, it was like, are we going to get a first down? You know, like we really did struggle to get a first down, and I don't think like I do, because I know you've said to other people that, oh, the offense last year was better. I don't think so at all. I think what I've seen through 4 games, the offense has been better this year. Because
yes, I understand your point there, but like I would like to just push back a little bit by saying, I mean, it was the second week in a row they had 3 points late into the third quarter. Like a lot of the offensive production is coming when they're playing in catch-up.
And we know when that happened too. They're turning the ball over. They're making losing mistakes. But it's like
that's what bad coach teams do, Nate. That's my point. That's why this needs to improve.
I'm with you. I said that earlier. Okay, the coaching has been bad too, and unfortunately they're learning on the fly, right? So this is like put to the fire. He's got a coach now. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not going to be an easy walk for anyone. Nobody thought he was just going to walk in and go, oh, we're just going to run the ball down people's throats, and we're literally the Philadelphia Eagles now, and we'll see them in the Super Bowl this year. You know that I know. I thought we were going to have 1 or 2 wins by now too. It sucks that the W's aren't there, but it's like I'm taking what I'm seeing, and I'm not on. I don't know why anyone is saying fired. You know, at all. I'm with. All right, let's see if he could coach now. Let's clean up these turnovers. Let's clean up these flags. Let's see how he's going to coach to fix these mistakes. You know, these mistakes weren't happening in training camp. It's fucking training camp. We're not. You know, we're lollygagging out there. It's game time now. It's coaching time. Let's see if he can do it. And we'll like you said, we'll probably know this season. But let's give him the season.
I don't disagree with that. I've said he's got to get the season, but I'm also not going to sit here and act like, you know, that it's not a conversation. If they win 3 games, people aren't going to want him to go.
This is where I hit Craig. I hit Craig right here last year. This is where I hit Craig right on the spot. Sorry. All right, fine.
Let's get a win Sunday, and it's a moot point. We'll be excited, convinced they're going to go to London and beat Denver and then start the season. Like, that's what I want to see, you know?
I'm with you. I don't. It's not like I go into the game like I did at times last year or 2 years ago with Zach, where I'm like, how are we even going to score 20 points? Like we have no shot to win this game unless, you know, the defense turns over and get to the end zone. I don't feel that way at all. I feel quite the opposite. I feel if the defense could get a couple stops, we could win. You know what I'm saying? Which is, I'm not saying it's a nice thing as a Jets fan, but it's definitely a difference to be on the other side of the coin, where I'm like, yeah, this offense can move the ball. We can protect field, and we can run the ball both with our quarterback, with our running back. Someone said that caller who called him with 18 points earlier, and I'm probably pushing him at his record now. That guy, he made a lot of good points earlier, but like we are a threat on offense and that's with 1 wide receiver, you know, and we can still move the ball. So now it's just like it's Steve Wilkes defense. We got the Aaron Glenn defensive coaching staff. Figure it out, you know, get to coaching.
I think that's all fair, Nate. I think part of the frustration too, from a fan standpoint, and good call, is they just played arguably their worst game against an awful team. Like, you throw away the Bills game, right? The Bills might be the best team in the league. Like, the Dolphins are in their weight class. They stink. You dominated them and still lost because of how bad you were. So that's the frustrating aspect. It's like they should be improving, and I think Monday night was a huge step back. Like, you can't say the combined record of the Jets' opponents is 9-3, and that's why, you know, look at the fight they showed. They were 0-3, but they were in it. That was a very, very poor showing on Monday. That's what Aaron Glenn is now up against. So I agree with you. Let's see if he can coach, fix the defense, because it shouldn't be this bad. He's a defensive coach. Steve Wilkes is an experienced defensive coordinator. That was his hire. So let's see if they can turn around. What I'm telling you is, if people call in and bring up, you know, him being Gerard Mayo and one and done, I'm not going to not talk about it because it hasn't happened yet. Like, I do a talk show for 4 hours a day about the Jets. People bring it up, I'll give you an answer. My opinion is if they win 3 games or less, it's a legit conversation. I don't know if Woody would do it, but I know it's at least going to be discussed. If they're that bad, folks, you're talking about drafting a quarterback, the most important position in all sports. You miss on quarterback, we know how that sets your franchise back. Look what missing on Sam and going to Zach did. And how that, because they missed on Zach, they then had to pivot to Rodgers, and how that then didn't work out. Like, the cycle never ends. So what I'm saying is that if they're that bad, it's at least a conversation. But I don't want to have that conversation. I want to win games, like on Sunday. I want one of you right now to win a signed Joe Klecko jersey.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Oh, baby, here we go. Someone's going to win a Joe Klecko signed jersey. If you do win, you have to email me your name and address. so we know where to send it. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck to everyone who entered. If you don't win, you're also in our weekly raffle. So you have a chance to win 3 prizes next Tuesday. Good luck. But it's time to declare a winner. And that winner is Mr. Flowers. He sent in a super chat earlier. Just want the jersey. Well, guess what, Mr. Flowers? The jersey's yours. Email me immediately, hasbeenjake@gmail.com, and I will make sure we get the jersey sent your way. Congratulations. Hit the Jet chant for Mr. Flowers. Yeah. That does it for our show today. Big thank you to Joe Blewett for his excellent film breakdown on this past week's Jets game. We will be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Matt O'Leary will be on the show. And tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, I might do 4, Dylan. I'll text you. We'll see if the Yankees win tonight and force a game 3. We will be live with Dylan Terraman. So we got O'Leary and Terraman tomorrow. We've made it to Thursday. Short week for the Jets. It's already Thursday tomorrow. We'll talk more about the specifics of this Cowboys matchup as we start to look ahead to that on Sunday during tomorrow's show. All right. My name is Jake Asman. If you've been watching this long, you know that. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching. JETS. Jets, Jets, Jets.
People think I don't want to.
Oh, go Yankees. Please don't lose.
People think I don't want to work, which is not true. I just had a bit of a nap not too long ago, too, so that didn't help.
Love it, dude.
You're talking about how people don't.
You can't say that people think you don't want a job and then say that you came off a real good nap. It's a hard 2 sentences to put together, Charles. It is. You got Jake off the camera.
How do you not see the irony of that, Charles? This is why Charles is the best of the best.
J-O-B, job, job, job.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.